pick up the phone, turn it up. Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend. We talk it out from end to end.
Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. As usual, we never have a subject matter, and it provides you the opportunity to dictate, to determine what we speak about. You can ask questions. We express our opinion, our views, and you can change the subject matter just with a call. We are 91.9, 91.5, and we on 94.9. That is We Noise FM in Brooklyn, New York. We always encourage you to subscribe to Real FM. That's one of the ways you could help and develop the station and the medium in out of St. George's. Just by always subscribing. Make certain you subscribe to the program, like the program, share the program. So our word could continue to spread and our impact would be greater. That's one of the medium that everybody have a voice on. On my program, you don't have to agree with me. I strongly believe we must speak the truth. Or we must try to live in the house of truth. If we have difficulties, stay in the veranda. Stay around the house of truth. We do challenge the government. We challenge the authorities that be. We challenge policy makers. Because we believe we could get it right. And they are the ones who determine the policy and the direction that we take. Sometimes, many times, people say you're not complimenting the government. And I ask, for what? What am I complimenting the government for? And sometimes I say, tell me 5 things that the government has done that I must compliment the government for. And they're struggling. Some people will race to talk about pension. And I let them say it, but they don't understand about the pension issue. And I never believed that the different political parties and the union took time off to explain to the public about the pension. And the political parties make the pension issue a political issue. So in my opinion, that is not an achievement. In fact, it is deception. It is lies. People were deceived and misled. So don't expect me to compliment the NDC for pension issue. They were deceived. They deceived the public. They lied to the public. They misrepresented the pension issue. They tricked the public. They don't need no compliment for it. What do you compliment NDC for? I always ask this question. What do you compliment this government for? This government saddens my heart. Because after 50 years of independence, there are some things you don't want to hear in Grenada. I don't want one group of people calling another group of people stupid or dumb or dotish or classless or culturally literate. What you mean by that? What you mean by that? When you consider some Grenadians as classless, what you mean by that? This is why I don't care about reparation. The black man participated willingly in slavery. He sold slaves. And the black man is just as guilty, even more guilty than the white man. The black man was selling slaves for 700 years before the white man started to buy. The black man was selling slaves for over 700 years before the white man started to buy. The black man was well aware that the Arabs was castrating the male slaves. He still continued to sell. So when you come now talking about reparation and trying to make people hate the white man for slavery and you're blaming Christianity and all sort of nonsense. Christianity was in Africa before he was in Europe. Christianity was in Africa before it came to Europe. The Europeans was able to spread it more, and nothing's wrong with that. And sometimes the spoils of war go to the victor. Why we continue to mislead our people? I watch in Grenada here, and our educators are misleading us. Our educators, our teachers and our educators, they're not doing a good job. It's not white people they're deceiving. It's not Asian or American. It's black people they're tricking. They're not doing a good job with our children. Last carnival, there was a stampede on the airport in Pause. The police fire gun. And then I called on the police to study the meaning of the word stampede. And be careful. Paul's airport have only entrance, only exit. So it's easier to handle a stampede because it's only exit the airport have. It must be remain so. Don't let anybody fence Paul's airport. If you're going to have these big, massive shows that could easily attract 10,000 people, nobody must not fence the airport. Because it's easy to have a stampede. But because the airport is exit alone, then you're not likely to have deaths. Our leaders in the country must operate at a higher standard with integrity, a high moral standard and discipline. Our politicians today, particularly those on the government side, I'm very disappointed in them. It seems that the Prime Minister, Dick Mitchell, has paid them to shut them out and obey. Lacrette was unceremoniously thrown out of a cabinet meeting, insulted, thrown out, and had police guard him. And all the other members remained quiet. All the other members of cabinet remained quiet. Based upon the information I have, nobody questioned Deacon. Why was Lacrette treated like that? Yes, caller, welcome.
I am the voice of one crying out in the wilderness. Good day, Senior.
Yes, my brother, do that.
How do you do?
Great, man.
Senior, I need to send a very serious warning to the supporters of the National Democratic Congress. A serious warning. And I am going to send that warning with a passion. I am a very much concerned citizen of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimatnik. I'm very proud to be a Grenadian. And it's my democratic right, it's my constitutional right to speak because I am proud to know that I am living in a free Grenada where we have the right to express ourselves without no fear or favor. The warning that I needed to send to the supporters of the National Democratic Congress. Whenever your prime minister is my own too, but whenever Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell do or say something that is not right, correct him and let him know that what he do or say is wrong. And by doing that, you NDC supporters of Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, by correcting him and telling what he say or do is wrong, you know what you're doing? You're trying your best to make him a better leader, because none of us is not perfect. Bear that in mind. Especially you, his cabinet colleague, that sit down there in his cabinet. And all you know to yourself that there are things that this man is doing, and you all as his cabinet colleague is not comfortable with it. And know it. Because many of all you, his cabinet colleagues, saying behind the prime minister back, there are things that he's doing and there are things that he's saying, and all you don't like it, but all you cannot tell him nothing. All you saying it. Are you saying it? And the reason why you all cannot tell him nothing, it is because the mighty big salary that he gives to all you watching that, and all you does not want to lose that kind of salary that many of you all had never seen money so in all your life. But what's about all you integrity? Can money buy integrity? All you sit down in cabinet the last time, and all you saw that the Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell summoned Mr. Jonathan Lacroix in a meeting, just because Mr. Jonathan Lacroix was honest enough to point out the dishonesty of corruption to the Prime Minister as it relates to the Lotto office. The Prime Minister got the information because Mr. Jonathan Lacroix told him what was happening. It took Mr. Lacroix to task, summon him in a meeting, and fire Mr. Jonathan Lacroix for being honest and speaking the truth. And are you sit down in cabinet? And are you watching fire Jonathan Lacroix? Are you a Jonathan Lacroix got with tears in the eye? And none of all you could not say to that young man as a prime minister, Chief, do that. The man go out sad until the prime minister look at Mr. Lacroix and he said, I find your face is not looking good. But if it happened that you want to have a little session with me, you can have it. Do not let this prime minister do things and all you don't correct him. All you is going to make that man a monster like Idi Amin in Uganda. I rest my case in here.
Yes, well, if they don't know, sometimes the members of the team are blinded by the money they get, encouragement money, and the threat that they could lose it. We will point it out to them. And we will hold all of them responsible. In the same way that I said Dickon Mitchell has incited violence in the country. And the upsurge in violence is as a direct responsibility of him. And I also identify the Minister of Legal Affairs and Labor as giving him full support, and Tevin Andrew that cost the police. Sharon, the sister from Gov, she liked to show up So she joined. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good day, Mr. Pierre
Yes, my brother, welcome.
and Real FM family. If you notice today, I did not touch the new ball. I still given someone else. But Pastor Lewis is a very good bowler, Lucas. Pastor Lewis, my good friend, I didn't know you could have bowled new ball so well. You touch a point, it wake me up because it's so correct. What you're saying to the nation and to Grenadian, so correct. I could not lie down. I had us to wake up. Mr. Pierre, the reason I always mention it, that the ministers around our prime minister, it's all of us prime minister, would not respond to wrongdoings. Because he explained all in the game that if you beggy, and your mouth on the ground, you should not be politician. He buy them at an early stage. None of them who is around him in, is not there for love of country. There is not there for love of the people of this country. There is therefore personal gain. Right now, I could testify. They don't have a deep love in their heart. When I say Mistress Pierre have love for people, they don't ask me how I know that. I know that. Our next Prime Minister to be have love for people. She don't offer herself for money. Mistress Pierre could survive. She could survive. She have her children under control. She have a husband. She could survive. She only offer her service because she love country. She love people. This is why I asked her while some program back if she realized she got a gift from God. I wonder if she know that. Some people get gift and they don't know. I believe she got a gift to rescue this nation. And a lot of us don't know as yet, but we will know. As Pastor Carlos Sr., I spoke to some, what you call, politico this morning. We had a long chat. And you know what they told me? This present administration is waiting on the indirect taxpayers, the people who don't care. They don't care about taxpayers' money. They don't care about nothing. This is the percentage of people he's looking on to help him to win back an election. And if these people don't pay attention, there is no way. So, they're looking for the don't care people. People are living anyhow. I want to know, any callers to come, tell me what percentage of people we have who don't care. They just know they're living. They say that's the majority of people. I still don't 100% believe.
Everybody in Grenada care. Well, that is not true.
Who care about the country? Who care about themselves? Who care about the children? Who care about the grandchildren? There is a great percentage of these people. Senior, I rest my case. Thank you, Mr.
Yes, I think everybody care in Grenada. Everybody care. Some people might come from the lower socioeconomic grouping and they're fighting to eat and to sleep and to drink and to eke out a living, send the children to school. And they may be preoccupied with basic survival issues. And they need help. And that is the people at the NDC have a history of trampling on the most. Every time they come in power, immediately they go after these people. That is the people they considered, they use the most demeaning, insulting, and fractious language to describe. People care, people want to live, people want to do better, people want to take care of the children. And sometimes you don't want them to get hopeless. And that is why we select politicians. And that is why each constituency have a representative. And that representative may have to seek the interests of the people in the constituency. A constituency might have about 3,000 persons. And it's easy for the people in the constituency, the representative, to know the needs of the people in the constituency. So when somebody chooses to represent a constituency, run on a political principle and philosophy and platform, and then walk away when they win election and join others is a sad story. Because people support you based upon what you and your group was advocating and offering them for the development. So you deceive them and trick them. In small democracies, we have to be extremely careful with the word bribery. Big companies and individuals with discretionary income can pay a politician to change sides and rob the people in the constituency of their vote. When they pay that politician and they buy the politician no longer seeks the interests of the people in the constituency. They seek the interests of their sugar daddy or the person who is paying them. That would be a deceiver. That is one of the worst things you could find in politics. A number of people and organizations are concerned of that. That mega companies could buy politicians and change the course of the party development. You have heard me ask repeatedly, who is the third party that directing our foreign policy? I was always concerned of that based upon what I was hearing. But what brought the final nail to the coffin was the action of the foreign minister and the action of the prime minister. The prime minister publicly deceived the people. The foreign minister spoke passionately against signing the Samoa Agreement. The prime minister said he did not read the document. He not authorized to sign it. You don't know about it. And while those men were speaking, the document had already signed. And I asked repeatedly, because I thought that this is a fundamental issue. When we got independence, we were in charge of a foreign policy. And now the prime minister and the minister of finance doesn't seem to have a clue who authorized that foreign policy chief. Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller. Good to hear your voice.
You know, well, sometimes I try to get through or thinking of getting through, but sometimes I'm so caught up with other things.
Yeah.
Because I'm busy with working and so on. And I'm not having Wi-Fi connection, which is the more free aspect of getting to you. But yesterday I heard the program. Well, no, before I go on with that, there seems to be a sabotaging process going on because just about every time that program comes on, even the radio station been playing or getting it fairly good before the program start. Like I heard the news. The news was on very good. For about 5 minutes while you were on, the program was good. And then there seems to be a sabotaging process going on. Not only, I mean, for a long while I know the station. Once I'm getting the station, when your program comes on, everything go haywire with the radio station in the connection aspect. So, Mr. Pierre, yesterday I listened to the program, and there were two callers in particular who tried to defend the kind of thing that is going on in this country, or justify, or to an extent, give praise to the government. And I keep wondering if these people living in the same country that I'm living in. Mr. Pierre, it so happened that I'm in this St. George constituency, or parish, I should say, sorry, where most of the economic activities take place in this country. And it is close to dead. Need hospital support. I've been to River Sally, where I'm from, a few weeks ago. Mr. Pierre, River Sally is dead, economically speaking. So I don't understand what on earth these people are seeing in this country. For the past week, 3 NDC, strong NDC supporters engaged me in conversation, deliberately, asking me, for another one of them pull up about the day before, 2 days ago, and asked me what I think about where the guy is going. Because he know I discuss this kind of things normally. And when I pointed out some negatives, I couldn't point out any positive. He agreed with me. He was one of the men who was so happy to have Deacon come in power the moment he came in power. He pointed out certain things to me at the time, and I pointed out, and he's a teacher, and I pointed out certain things at the time to him. He agreed. Because all he had to say at the time was negative. Or Kit Mitchell and whoever spent 25 years and how much years, and they did nothing for. I keep wondering how people like that could exist in this country. You keep hearing about this. They spent 23 years or whatever amount of time they like to talk about, and they did nothing for the country. I pointed out to him at the time. I'm talking about a few days after the election. I pointed out to him all the amount of positives that you could point out to that Kit Mitchell is responsible for making sure that country develop. All I was hearing at the time was talk about development and talk about transformation and all this kind of thing. After 3 years, nothing to show. There's nothing in Grenada to smile about. I mean, I'm not a party person. I'm an analyst by nature. My good friend, for example, William Joseph. When I say my good friend, when me and William meet, we will talk for hours doing the analysis of things. And that's why he likes to talk to me about, because I'm an objective person, Mr. Pierre. I'm not the kind of a party person. And if I was a party person, I would be critical about anything, quite naturally. That's how my nature is. I'm not a biased person. I don't hate Deacon Mitchell. I don't hate NDC, sorry. But, hello, there is nothing to smile about. All the programs and whatever is happening in this country is programs that were initiated long before they came into power. And they come into power and ruin a few of them already. Because few things are happening some of the projects, look at the project on the foot. That project stopped. Money was always prepared for it already. The project stopped. The River project cannot continue. Everywhere you look, there's confusion in the. I went deliberately and looked at the Woodlands project, Woodlands to Woburn area project, and that project is in tatters. You go to the country area, and it's like you're in another world here. I don't go up River Sally regular. I don't need to go up there regular, but I had to go up there twice in 2 days, in 3 days, sorry. And nothing is happening in River Sally, for example. I spoke to somebody from River Sally a few months before, actually on the Credit Union Day, the gathering of the Credit Union in the country. And I was told that people who are strong supporters of NDC in that area are afraid to even engage people in conversation because of the fact that they don't have nothing to boast about.
Nothing to say.
Nothing to say. They're afraid to have conversation relative to the issue as Grenada stands right now. So I don't understand where the two people, and they try their best. You can see they're intelligent people.
And I give them room to try.
Well, you might say rope to hang themselves. Because it's amazing. There is nothing to show in this country that makes a difference. All the programs and effort that is in train right now has been in train for time before they came in. And that's the kind of problem I keep having. How you have a conscience to defend the indefensible? I mean, you can be right.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, the ministers who sit there and look at for example, well, he's not a minister, Ron Reddit. I listened to hear Ron Reddit. He's a guy I always like, and I made mention of that already.
Ron is a minister.
Ron Reddit is doing it.
He won his seat. He's a
But
minister.
the thing, you're saying something?
I said Ron is a minister. He won his seat.
They make him minister again?
He's an MP. Oh, well, they never fire him, really, you know. They fire him, but they didn't fire him. Remember, they throw him out of cabinet, but he never leave cabinet. They give him the gracious offer. He become the...
But Ron is doing his best, but Ron is talking to me from a party perspective. And that's where there's a problem. These guys are so confused. They're mixing up party programs, party issues with government issues. The government is separate from the party completely. And, you know, that's why I always commend Kit Mitchell and his ministers for. They never mix up these two things. I've never heard them try to mix up to the extent that you have sometimes Ron Reddit come in on the government side. There's a particular program that GBN does, Grenada Broadcasting Network, that accept on the Tuesday, they accept opposition people. And usually the NNP people are there. They represent the NNP. On Wednesdays, the government side is accommodated. You have people like Ron Reddit come in there sometimes. Ron Reddit is not a part of the government.
Yeah.
He's no minister. And this kind of nonsense keeps happening. You have the General Secretary of the NDC appearing on a program sometime too. I don't understand why this nonsense is happening in Grenada when, you know, so that people are confused. Now, maybe these guys irritate me so much, I find myself saying so much.
Yes, I agree with you. And I don't think they could be helped.
Mr. Pierre,
yeah, thank you.
You permit me a few minutes. Permit me a minute again.
Yeah.
Relative to the issue of the swearing in and the oath issue that an effort is being made to change, I'm in full agreement with it. Change that should have been. I've written a whole lot of things relative to that kind of thing for all the years, Mr. Pierre. I used to write a lot at one time on the Grenadian Voice and other newspaper too, but mainly on the Grenadian Voice. And that kind of issue relative to constitutional change was one of my pet subjects. And right now, It is a very good idea. That should have been done years ago. Very good idea to change that aspect of it. Where when you're swearing in, you don't swear to the king and the queen and this kind of people. But there's a confusing aspect of it, so that when the governor general, who represent the king or the queen or whoever, because heirs and successors, what the constitution is designed, heirs and successors have to be sworn to, based on the constitution.
Yeah.
But if you could change it without a referendum, fine, which seems to be the case. This is my understanding of what I'm hearing, seeing, making sense of. If you could change it, what happens now with the governor general swearing in process? Who that governor general representing now? I mean, the governor general is not representing the queen or the king or whoever, heirs and successors. That now sounds like an anomaly. So, what is going on there? That's a big question that I'm not.
Yes, scholar, and it's a big question that we have to continue to discuss.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
Thank you.
The issue on that is whether the method the government want to use, as if they don't want to pass, they want to pass in the back door. They're supposed to have a referendum, and the government now don't want to do that. They want to go in parliament and pass it by a simple majority. They're supposed to have a referendum, and the people in the country have to vote on it, and 2/3 of the people have to vote to make the decision. And they want to try a little coup, a constitutional coup in this country. And that's a challenge that we have. We hear in the issue with Amanda Jack. I think that is her name. The NDC militant in Kareku. The individual is a known NDC militant. The opposition has formally objected against her. And the Governor General seems to be tolerating her. The Governor General have to remove her from the electoral office. She's a contaminant. She's an NDC militant. There is nothing good or genuine about her actions. And we call on the supervisor of election to remove her. Ask the Governor General to remove her, or you remove yourself. The electoral process in Grenada have a very good reputation. From 1983, no one could have pointed fingers with any level of credibility against the electoral office. Mr. Pierre, who is now the supervisor of election, educate yourself. Don't get tricked. Otherwise, you may have to go to jail. You don't want it. It appears that Amanda Jack, nothing good could come out from her involvement in the electoral process. And the Governor General, you should be 4-1. Yes, scholar, welcome. The Governor General should be 4-1 to remove this individual forthwith. Yes, scholar.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre. How
Yes,
are you today?
great man, good man.
Yes, what I call to, I heard two men spoke yesterday, or the one before the other one, trying to defend Deacon Mitchell for the 3 years. Look all what he have done, and start thinking about what, because he do so much. Yes, I agree with him. Deacon Mitchell do a lot. He do a lot because since in campaigning time, he disrespecting people with his obscene language. They lie so much, they put him there. His seniors of the NDC, he disrespect respect them fully because he said they had the power in their hand and they could not have, they didn't know what to do with it, they could not have used it, but he have the power and he going to use it and he's using it. He leave Grenada, he go in St. Lucia, he disrespect the senior of the NDC again. Nobody talking about, look, this obscene language he have going on with there. Nobody don't hearing about it. You don't hear nobody say anything. But when they was accusing um our prime minister about Kit Mitchell about the briefcase, what he said in the end when they asked him, he said, well, even though I get the briefcase, the damn money is mine. They had it as a road match. They make song on it because they find Kit Mitchell disrespect the nation. But now all what Dick and Mitchell going on with they can see. Nobody don't say anything. Nobody, you don't hear nothing about
But we
what they
saying
going
so
on
we
with
can
it.
see nobody.
Nothing. Because you see some of them, especially senior of the people of the NDC, they shame. They shame. They feel, well, he young and he vibrant, so he is the one they're going to try, they're trying to uplift. Nobody does saying anything about it. And he did a lot in Grenada for you because he backed out the poor and needy one and is only on top there. And all he minister, he disrespect his own people and them what with him, his minister and them in parliament. And they can, the table blow, blow, blow. But the bribers, he said he bribed them with the $2, the money he thrown them. So that is the reason why they can't say anything. And this man, what spoke yesterday, about all what he do in 3 years, look all what he do. He must be getting a cut out of what the money and them the thing in there too. That's the reason why these people and them according to how you call her, they bad minded, they wicked, and the hypocrite. Have a blessed day. God bless.
Yes, and we always ask people when you make strong statements, advance arguments. And I have to admire the sister as she was advancing arguments what didn't do. What he did was not positive. He acted like a vulture when he immediately removed money from the elderly, although he promised them 650. That is the action of a vulture. And he's sneaking into a country, Nigeria. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon to you, sir,
Yes, my brother.
and a pleasant afternoon to your listening audience. Whenever you hear this voice, you know it's movement time. And I want you to know, Mr. Pierre, that the movement continues to build capacity. And as a result of that, we are getting ready to move from where we are to the next level. So I want to say to the people of St. Patrick, East and West, let not your political hearts be troubled. Help is on its way. No. Mr. Pierre, when supporters and activists of the NDC is telling us about all the good things that the NDC is doing presently, Mr. Pierre, indirectly, in my own common sense thinking, they are giving a lot of credit to the NNP that they don't realize. Because when the NNP took office in 2013, the economic and financial outlook for Grenada was in the toilet. You understand? It was in the toilet. 70 cents on every dollar we earned was not ours. 40 cents, 40% national employment, 60% youth unemployment, and in an economy, in reverse. You understand? I mean, listen, man, we under the NDC, they were selling out national assets just to pay wages and salaries. Could you imagine that? You have land and you're selling land just to pay the people what work in the rest of the land. Sooner or later, what would happen? You would have no land. I'm saying all of this to say that. So if we were there in 2013, the NNP lost the election in 2022. If NDC could do all of that, in 2.5, 3 years, if they could do all of that, tell me where does the economic magic come from? If it was not as a result of what they did there. Mr. Pierre, in the history of my existence, based on when I've been around politics, I have never heard any incoming administration admit that they meet a pregnant treasury. Every time they come, they say what? It's either the treasury had a miscarriage, or either the treasury is barren, so to speak, like it cannot make no babies. That is what we always hear. No, they meet a pregnant treasury. In 2.5 to 3 years, tell me what an incoming government could do. You understand? That is reflective of their ability. Most of the projects that is being done now, all the big projects, is what was already there. Yes, they may have to fine tune some of them, but that was already there. So I'm waiting for closer to the election to hear what the plans will be, Mr. Pierre. But right now, the movement is moving. Have a pleasant day, sir.
Yes, and that is where I question politicians. I individual want to know what politicians stand for, because politicians have a lot of power, and the leader of a political party could change the philosophy and the ideology of a party. Maurice Bishop came on the scene, and although Maurice Bishop was not the favorite of those who overthrew the country, they saw him as the one best able because he had a public appeal. Maurice Bishop caused over 3,000 people to go in jail. They castrate people. They walk on women back in the knot. A lot of atrocities were committed. So we must know what leaders stand for. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, my bad.
Yes, the record that this gentleman just gave on the NNP is 110% correct. Now, we as Grenadians, what we have to look at is that the history of the NNP and the history of other political parties in this country. What NNP keep on demonstrating is that it is the rescue party, that when others destroy the country, NNP have to come back and rebuild. Now, the thing about it is that this movement that he is speaking of, can anybody trust this organization? An organization made up of Marxist, communist this kind of people and them. Remember, when they were in power between 1979 to 1983, it was the communist bloc that was sustaining them. Now there is no communist bloc to sustain them. So if we take the country and give it to this movement, we're in trouble. If NDC come back, we're in trouble. The record shows that the only political organization in this country that can rescue this country is the NNP. And I'm not just talking. People need to wake up. Look at the record. Look at it. Right? And don't be fooled by the smart men and them. There are people in this country, the only thing they are interested in is in power. Power, and to enslave the Grenadian people. You have members of this organization calling on radio, attacking the Jewish people. When we look at what the Hamas terrorists did in Israel, and we have these people from this same revolution supporting the Hamas terrorists. When they come in power, the freedom they have now, calling you and calling on a radio station, I will be a fool to think that we'll have that same kind of freedom.
Sometimes I dey in jail long time.
They are no different to the Hamas terrorists, right? They are no different because they're not against terrorism, they are against evil. Sorry, they are supporting evil against wickedness. They promote wickedness, right? So they're playing a game now, and we have to wake up, take the right decision next election. Thank you, sir.
Yes, obviously they need the support of the masses. You know, they need a cause to ride on the back. They cannot tell the people what they truly stand for because he cannot sell. Marxist Leninism and atheism cannot be sold. Nobody will support it. So they always ride on the back of a cause. Nobody want to give the right away. They help to destroy family. They don't like strong families. And anything goes. They lack compassion. The elderly, they have no respect for. And we have to be careful. They hide what they believe till they come in power. Because they know it cannot be sold. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Hello?
Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre. And how are you?
Great, man. Good.
Mr. Pierre, I'm feeling very, very disappointed. Why are you entertaining this distraction and them for? They have nothing to say. These are NDC people. They're not listening to you. They are there to promote their own prime minister. The prime minister is not doing nothing for us. We are the poor people on the ground and we're suffering all in Carriacou. The other day I heard a woman say she cannot hear the people in Carriacou speaking. I'm speaking now. We are suffering in Carriacou. We can't get nothing. The people is still living in tents. Tell them to address that issue for us, please. Look at the poor people on the ground, Mr. Pierre. What they're doing is not right. So you don't entertain them distractors and them when you say they come on the show. Please, I beg, don't do it, Mr. Pierre. Because when we go on the show, they're not giving us a chance. They're not giving us a chance to speak. They're cutting us off. So you cut them off too. You have a nice day, Mr. Pierre. God bless you.
Yes, you see, the communists, the Marxists, and the Leninists, they always hide. And they spring, they ride on a cause. And when they're in power, they take your rights away. So somebody like me might be in jail. If I was in Cuba, I would have been in jail. In any one of the communist countries. Cuba today have thousands of people still in prison. And Caribbean leaders and other leaders are not calling for the release or the fair trial of those Cuban in jail. Cuban is languishing in prison because the ideology, the communist ideology, does not encourage freedom of speech and expression. We have to encourage freedom, and we have to be the custodian of the freedom in Grenada. And caller, you are the last caller, so punch.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes,
yeah,
man.
how you do?
Great, man.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, you made some points earlier concerning Mr. Lacquette and when the PM fired him on the spot and the PM looked at Lacquette's face. Now, remember, Brother Lacquette was a senator, so he was chosen by the PM with that job he was given as a minister, a senator minister, right? So, Brother Lacquette had no grounds to either protest. But the mere fact that Mr. Deacon could have seen the frustration and the kind of confusion in Mr. Lacquette's face because he knows that what Mr. Lacquette was bringing to the table was feasible and the honest truth. So he would not have known what Mr. Lacquette's retaliation might have been. Hence the reason why Mr. Lacquette, in my opinion, was also given police escort outside of the building, because these things, when you're unjustly fired, especially when not given a reason, can have repercussions, and the Prime Minister knows fully well that. You see Brother Ron Redhead, Brother Andy, Brother Tevin, and these Miss Kieran James, these people that came from this Youth for Change movement, Brother Deacon has no control over them, right? You cannot tell me that you have a minister, well, an MP now, that was accused of selling a car, right? He made some statements about who will make jail. I mean, these people are getting away with things and they do it over and over and over. But yet, you have this one inside Davis calling and say, oh, Deacon is the best thing since after sliced bread. Where was Deacon Mitchell before 2022? Where was Deacon in the political life of Grenada? What was Deacon doing? You know, and then he's the best thing after sliced bread. But one day, Grenada day, we're going to see what happen to this country if this party win the next election. Mr. Pierre, have a good afternoon.
Yes, scholar, thank you. And we want to thank everybody for participating and listening to our program. And that is a very important thing. These programs on Real FM and other radio stations that provides an opportunity for people to express themselves is a very important thing in a democracy. Now, the Grenada government under the Prime Minister has initiated a very bad policy, a policy that could haunt us later. We're practically setting up countries for if the extremists come in power. So they don't have to answer no question. They don't have to answer no question. Remember, during the 1979-1983 was heavy manners. Heavy manners. Maurice Bishop said, if you say they say, he locking up there. Now, Kit Mitchell liberalized the telecommunication network that gives us the opportunity to use the media and express ourselves. We must guard that jealously. We mustn't take that privilege easily, you know. The NDC would like to shut us up from radio, and they use other means of strangulation to see if they could shut you up. The NDC had money on agriculture to decide if you speak it up, they wouldn't give you. Yesterday, you hear me call on the Public Workers Union to provide the list for me with the workers that they refuse, that they move from the insurance company. While the union is collecting people's money, they remove their name from the insurance. This is a criminal act. And I would like people to investigate it. Because these are the ways the communists use to silence people and make them non-person. These are some terminologies you would have heard more in the revolution. Attempt to make people non-person. Deny them the fundamental rights. Deny them the privileges. And I don't know to what extent the Public Workers Union is obeying the dictates of the National Democratic Congress. We're back with you again next week between 12 and 1 for another program, and we always encourage you to share, like, and subscribe to our program. Thank you very much.
Turn it up, Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend.